Hey, welcome to another episode of It Resolves.
Welcome back.
My name is Kevin.
I'm Will.
And we are here to bring you the standard and limited episode of It Resolves for this week.
Oh yeah, it is jam-packed with information, with numbers, cards, wins and losses, and blah 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 blah.
But first,
we need to give some thanks.
We do.
Where it's due. Miss Allison Warfield, Puzzled Periwinkle on Instagram, on the gram. Thank you for partnering with us, for giving us a shout out, or just a nod on the cap, whatever it is, whatever you have. She is a great person who likes people. And if you're one of those, you should go follow her.
She's really awesome. She's done a lot for Magic over Instagram. The Magic community owes her a lot.
Yeah. And shout out to all Lady Magic players for a moment. Thank you for...
That's something that we'll probably touch on at some point.
Something that means a lot to me.
I think that's really important. And I don't know, really great. So great to have her. Thank you for your support.
Much appreciation.
And your partnership. Without further ado, here we go. We got the card of the day.
One of my favorites.
Last was the giant ambush beetle, which was kind of awesome. I really liked it.
I went and I bought a few. They're my pets now.
Few. Oh,
my giant ambush beetles. My wife hates them. Hates them.
Without further ado, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Life Tap.
Ooh.
An interesting card. 2 blue for an enchantment. You gain 1 life each time any forest of opponents becomes tapped.
So I saw 2 blue and got really excited.
Yeah, I saw a blue card and just got happy.
But
first of all, the way this is worded, you gain 1 life each time any forest of opponents becomes tapped.
Forest of opponents.
That seems a little odd. This does go back to Alpha, so that makes a lot more sense. Okay.
It was last printed in 5th edition.
So bad. Just real bad.
Just bad. Alpha gonna be alpha.
Although I will say, this is very situational.
Okay, talk to me. All right.
Just imagine this scenario. You're playing Commander, okay? 4-player format, right?
All right.
You're playing a mono blue or some variation of blue.
Okay.
Has to have blue in it.
Okay, sure.
Opponents are all playing mono green.
Oh, man.
So all they got is forest.
Oh, baby.
Imagine the buffer that you get in your life total.
I mean, that's
based
not
on this card.
Bad. What if, hypothetically, hypopologically,
all of the above,
you play some variation. Oh, nope, I got it.
Oh, okay.
There's a card that says you pay 50 life.
Okay.
And deal, I think it's 50 damage to target opponent. Something like that.
Okay.
Something like that. I'm not remembering the name, and I'm probably butchering it, but...
So maybe this is a combo with that.
It could be.
But only against green decks.
Only against green decks, which are played a lot in Commander, but you're kind of gambling.
This is just not good, is it? Like,
don't play this
Don't
card.
play Life Tap, is what we're going for.
No.
Instead, play the giant beetle. That is amazing.
The giant ambush beetle. Play 12 of them.
12 of them.
Have a
it's
fleet of ambush
even
beetles.
if you're in blue and you're playing Commander.
Fair.
So not a great card of the day. It doesn't compare to the beetle, but pretty interesting, I guess. Maybe if you do know you're against like 3 green decks, it's kind of okay.
This seems like a meta playgroup call to me.
Definitely.
If ever.
Other than that, no, this card is quite bad.
No, but shout out to Alpha. Thanks for giving us what you did.
Yeah.
And please stay.
That's the roots.
Far away. Okay.
All right, Will. So today is a standard day.
Yes.
I didn't do anything to prepare for this. This is all you. You've told me that you have this covered.
I got it covered like cheese on nachos.
Which is like 70% of the chip.
Well, you're
depending on the nachos.
You're eating some puny nachos, my man. I'm gonna need an equal cheese to nacho relationship.
All right.
Here.
Okay. So tell me what you got. Let's hear it. Let's see what we can do. Let's talk this out.
Kevin, I did not come to disappoint. With that in mind, do you know what happened over Mummy's Day weekend?
Tell me.
It was the Pro Tour of Hamonket. So by the time this goes out, probably a lot of content will be out there.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
However, I still want to touch on it because it was very exciting to me, very uplifting, I think. So Kevin, start little, just pick your brain.
Okay.
Give me 2 decks that you think might be in the top 8 in the Pro Tour?
All right, and it is worth noting I have not seen the top 8, so I have no idea.
This is a secret.
All right, but I did some research, a little bit of. I watched a video on Standard recently.
Talk to me.
I'm gonna say one that I think is in it.
Okay.
Well, that based on history should be in it, but maybe isn't.
Okay.
Mardu vehicles.
Okay.
Okay.
And your next one?
And my next one is just one that I want to be in it.
Okay.
Which is just zombies. I just want that to be a thing.
How interesting.
Oh.
You were 50% right.
Wow, that's about normal.
Kevin, zombies were 3 of the top 8 decks.
Whoa.
Mardu vehicles is nowhere to be seen.
Good.
In the top 8.
Finally, Mardu vehicles. No offense, Mardu vehicle players, but
much offense, Mardu vehicle players.
Mardu vehicles.
Now here's okay. So here's the thing: zombies were 3 of the 8 decks, like I just said. 2 were mono black.
Okay.
1 was Orzhov, so black white.
Yeah.
The other decks, 4 were Aetherworks marbles.
Interesting. Okay.
Yes. 1 was a Golgari energy deck. Energy aggro.
Very cool.
Okay. Now that's a deck that's been around a little while and has struggled to pick up steam.
Right.
This deck was interesting. Just a little quick aside. I don't have much for this, but I will call to it. This deck was missing Virtuous Gear Hulk. Virtuous Gear Hulk. I can say that. Like
the green one.
The green one. That's right. The guy that puts counters on stuff. That works really well in black-green right now with Windy Constrictor. You could put 8 counters on things.
Yeah, you get extras.
And it's just kind of the top of the curve. But the real star for this deck ended up being Bone Picker.
Which is?
Bone Picker is a 1 black, 3 colorless that says you may cast Bone Picker for 3 less if a creature died this turn.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. It's sweet. So reading over some of the match recaps, the guy who piloted this deck was able to drop 2 of those and another bomb in 1 turn.
Wow.
Which is insane. And it's got flying and death touch. It's a 3/2.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
That's insane.
It's really strong. It's a limited all-star as well in this set. But that was the odd man out. That was the single kind of deck in the top 8. So I'm getting a lot of my numbers from some other YouTubers, from MTG Goldfish, MTG Top 8, to just try and pool a lot of information.
Sure.
So quick shout out to Goldfish, to the top 8, as well as Strictly Better MTG.
Okay.
Cool YouTuber. He puts out a lot of good content, a lot of homebrewed stuff, budget decks. Someone who I feel akin to.
Oh.
You know. So yeah, let's talk about that top 8 for a second. Mardu vehicles, not there.
This is like the happiest moment. I don't even care that much about Standard, but this is like the happiest moment of my life.
So people like Kevin, who hate Standard, would hate it because, what would you say? That you have to invest a lot into it over and over again?
Yeah, it's a fairly large investment because, you know, the price of cards generally goes up when they're being played, which is Standard. And it doesn't hold its value, but it's also generally, there's not tons of decks.
That's true.
Like something like Modern, there's some tier 1 decks that you're always going to see, but then you also get the random sort of like 8-rack decks, things like that aren't necessarily tier 1, but you still get to see them, and they still do pretty well. I mean, 8-rack did top 8 recently.
Yeah.
So you get some really cool stuff, whereas in Standard, it's like, here's like 3 decks max. Enjoy. I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
It's very stale in general.
I see what you're saying. Happy to say this Pro Tour seemed to shake that a little bit. A little bit.
I like to see that.
We're going to talk about some of the meta breakdown real quick. So the types of decks you could describe. Aggro decks took 62% of the field. So decks,
that makes sense.
You know, decks that are stompy, that control the board with guys, with threats.
With creatures.
Control decks took 6% of the board.
Interesting. A very small portion.
Yes. So control kind of hits Standard every now and again. It just doesn't seem to have been very strong these last few blocks.
The last time I remember it being a really strong contender, I guess Esper Control and Theros was really big.
Yeah, you can say that.
During that block. Things like Ashiok really stood out, and Jace Architect, I thought.
That's true.
Really held that deck. I'm sure there's been others since then. I don't keep up with Standard very well, so I may be missing one or two, but that was the last like huge notable control deck that I remember.
It's the last time one has been so strong.
Sure.
It got things like Elspeth to put out its
It was
chumps.
just dominant at the time, and there were a few variations that made it so.
You saw a few interesting control decks. You saw an Is It control deck in this Pro Tour.
Okay.
It's kind of cool. Did not top 8, but did fairly well. There's a Marvel deck we'll get into that kind of throws in some control stuff. But speaking of Marvel/combo decks, I say it's Marvel/combo because Marvel is really the only kind of combo deck you get in this Pro Tour.
Now, hold on.
Yes.
I'm gonna raise to question something here.
Okay.
The New Perspectives combo deck, was that a thing?
It was played.
Okay.
It did not see that much success.
I'm sure it wasn't good, but
I think it had a 6-4 record day 2.
For those of you who don't know, this is a cool deck, I think.
It's neat.
This is one of the few decks I do know in Standard.
Okay, talk a little bit about it.
And the reason I think it's awesome is just because it's so janky. Basically, it's Turbo Fog into New Perspectives.
Yep.
And New Perspectives says draw 3 cards, and then all of your cards with cycling are free, is essentially what it means.
If you have 7 or more cards.
If you have 7 or more cards in your hand, you're correct.
Right.
So basically, you play tons of cyclers, a lot of them being fogs or gain life sort of effects. Then you drop a New Perspectives, you cycle through basically all of your deck until you find Approach of the Second Sun, play it, cycle again until you get Approach of the Second Sun again, play it, and win. It's like the weirdest combo sort of deck ever for me that I've seen. It's just so weird.
I
love it.
It's cool. Yeah, it's definitely like an alley rogue deck builder kind of like.
Yeah,
hey,
I know.
Kids,
I actually saw. I actually saw LSV on Channel Fireball pilot this online on YouTube for a bit. I just watched a few of his matches. Very cool. So not that good.
Inconsistent is its
cool.
biggest problem.
Yeah.
Inconsistent. Which I would imagine is what its issue was this weekend. Yes, very cool. Yes, it has a card that says, "Hey, do this and you win."
Yeah,
but
that
it's
is
not fast
so rough.
Enough. Yeah, no. Okay, so
just a sidebar there.
Right. So no, I'm gonna say combo decks did not make a splash.
Okay.
Except for Aetherworks.
Yeah.
We'll get into that in a moment. Also want to talk about really quickly just some of the most played cards. So taking the first spot. Fatal Push.
No surprise.
Nope, not at all.
Honestly, not at all.
Such an efficient removal card. Hits so much.
Yeah.
The next one is Scrap Heap Scrounger.
Okay.
It's a great card.
Yeah.
It's played a lot in the zombie decks.
Okay.
Of course, Mardu vehicles.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's definitely in vehicles for sure.
Then Attune with the Aether, or Attune with Aether. Excuse me.
Which does
Attune with Aether says. You can search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tapped, gain 2 energy. For 1.
Okay.
For 1.
Cool.
Works great in the Teamer Marvel
absolutely.
decks, of course. So Fatal Push, there were 460 copies played day 2.
Whoa.
Scrap Heap had 374 copies day 2.
Wow.
Attune had 356.
Okay.
So kind of speaks to the volume of these cards.
Yeah.
Longevity, you might say. So the top 3 played decks, though. It took the most of the field. I'll talk about those as well.
You got a lot of info here. I like it.
I did a lot of reading,
man. You did a lot of research. I'm glad I didn't have to do anything.
Well, I did the homework for
once.
I got
to be lazy.
Well, anytime, Kevin. It was a pleasure. It was, actually. I really enjoyed watching this Pro Tour stuff. It was very cool to see Mardu kind of take a back seat. But Mardu, however, tied with Aetherworks as the most played deck.
That isn't hugely surprising, is it?
No, it's not. It is surprising to note, though, that the highest they climbed was the 22nd spot.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot lower than I would expect. Even though they were not in the top 8, I would have still thought they would be top 16, maybe.
Yep, so 26% for both those decks. But yeah. Then Zombies took the 3rd spot at 21%. All the hype around Zombies, I think, really just culminated this weekend.
Yeah.
So, let's get into the final 2.
Okay.
The feature match. It was against 2 of my favorite players.
Oh.
Yu Yu Watanabe.
Oh, so cool.
And Jerry Thompson.
All right.
Yu Yu Watanabe was piloting a very, very cool Teamer Marvel deck.
Yeah.
It's very sweet. Yuya? Excuse me. Yuya. If you haven't watched his stuff before, is kind of... He is notorious for taking a deck looking at a meta and saying, I'm just going to tweak just a little bit.
Yeah.
And then make it to the top 8.
And then just make it amazing, right?
Yes, he just makes it so much better. And
he's also just such a fluid player.
Yes.
He was recently, last couple years, into the Hall of Fame, I believe.
Last year, I think, actually. Yeah.
He is one of my favorite players to watch. He plays very quickly, but I mean, obviously, he's a pro. He knows what he's doing.
Of course.
But he is just very consistent, very, very good, and very, I would say, technical in his plays, that he knows what he's doing most of the time.
Yes.
And finds ways out of very, very sticky situations.
Yeah. He takes a hand and can see infinitely more lines than I could. So
absolutely.
It's incredible. So he was piloting, like I said, the Teamer Marvel deck. Jerry had mono black zombies.
Very cool.
Okay. Have I told you who won yet?
I don't believe so. I think I might know.
I want you to guess.
I think I know. I think it's zombies.
You would be correct.
Heck yeah.
Zombies won. Zombies won the Pro Tour in Nashville, Tennessee.
Happy Zombies won.
It's incredible. I have wanted a tribal deck for so long, and Zombies does it great.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Teamer deck first, but then the Zombies deck really is fun.
Did you say Jerry's deck was mono black zombies?
I did.
It was the mono black version.
Yes, mono black, not
just wondering.
I don't remember what spot the black white zombies grabbed.
That's okay. I was just wondering. Yeah. I know that again, listening to LSV talk about some of his videos, he was talking about the benefits between the mono black and then the black white.
Right.
And one of the I think what he was basically saying is the mono black version does a lot better against some of the Marvel decks, things like that.
It does.
Whereas the Orzhov color does really well in something like a mirror match, because you get things like Binding Zombie, things like that can sort of get you out of the board stalling. Which generally happens in a deck like in a mirror match like that. So just to note, I thought that was interesting. So I was just wondering which one won.
Sure. Yeah. Mono Black Zombies won. It took it though. And congrats to Jerry. He's deserved that for a little while now. He's kind of always been in the community, doing various things for Star City Games. So quick shout out to him.
Way to go, Jerry.
Yeah. Great
Congratulations.
Job. So Watanabe's deck, though, is interesting, is fun, like I said. So it runs 10 creatures, which is pretty standard for a Marvel deck. Of course, with the bomb being Ulamog. That's what you want to spin your Marvel into. Just duh. And then it runs other things. 4 Rogue Refiners, 2 Whirler Virtuosos. Rogue Refiners draw you a card, net you some energy. For 3 mana. I think they're a 2/3 body. I could be wrong. And then Whirler Virtuosos are the, again, probably going to be wrong, but I'm going to go for it. It's the 2/2 flyer that makes you 3 energy for a red, a blue, and some colorless mana. And then you also get to make Thopter tokens.
Okay.
For, like, some unspecified amount of energy.
Oh, I like
Sorry, that. I didn't write much notes on the little guys.
We're very vague here at It Resolves.
Man, you just look it up.
You have to know a little bit of information.
Yeah, I hope so. No, but just like little guys that get you more energy, provide you blockers, just stuff like that. Sure. Nothing crazy to say about those.
Stall cards.
And then 1 copy of Torrential Gearhulk. Yeah, just to kind of mix it up to get some longevity out of your spells.
I love Torrential Gearhulk.
It's a great card. Enough to be a centerpiece of a deck.
Yeah.
Even. Not this deck,
it's like a giant Snapcaster is really what it is.
A Snapcaster with a butt.
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, and obviously it's not as, low costed as Snapcaster.
Sure, but you do get to cast the card for free.
You do. It's pretty awesome. I really like it. I mean, it's making waves everywhere. I think it's a great card.
Yeah, fantastic. So he added that to kind of give the deck a control-y shell.
Okay.
So he runs a Tune with Aether as well, just to give the whole deck list here. And then 16 instants. 3 Centers, 3 Dissenters Deliverance, 4 Harnessed Lightnings, 1 Negate, 1
Very
of Negate, 1 Causal X Return, and of course 4 Glimmer of Genius.
So this feels like more of a control deck for sure.
Yeah, it does a much better job of getting to your Aether work, getting to things that you need to see to win. With Glimmer of Genius, with Censor, the 2-mana counterspell.
Unless they pay 1.
Right. With cycle, though.
With cycling, it's sort of like a little bit higher casted Force Spike. For those of you who know Force Spike, 1 mana counter target spell unless they pay 1.
Yeah. It's great
but
with 1 mana.
With the cycling, you sort of get some extra. If you draw this late, you can sort of cycle it away. It doesn't really matter as much. So
it's like we said in a previous episode, cyclers are never really dead cards.
Right.
They're always something else, at the very least. And then, of course, the artifacts. Surprise, 4 Aetherworks marbles.
Weird how that works. It's almost like that's the name of the deck.
Wouldn't you know it? You've been paying attention.
I do what I can.
And 4 Woodweaver's Puzzle Knots. You gain 3 life, gain 3 energy.
Perfect.
Not more to say about those.
Yeah.
This is a horribly consistent deck, is how I'll describe it.
Horribly consistent. Yes. I like that.
It just gets on board, gets online to its win cons so well. Things that other Aetherworks decks didn't do as well.
Okay.
Although the decks did stall enough to spin into this big thing.
Right.
I'm going to talk about another bomb that Watanabe doesn't run that the other Aetherworks decks do.
Okay.
I'll just do that first. So Chandra Flamecaller made a little bit of a splash this weekend. And I chalked this up to a metagame call, another one. Because you can spin into this with your Aetherworks. So let's say you don't hit an Ulamog, but you do hit Flamecaller.
Mm-hmm.
This card is perfect for a zombies matchup.
Okay.
For her -X dealing X damage to every creature.
Yeah.
Is exceptional.
Seems insane against zombies, right? It's just a board wipe.
To play it for free and then to instantly minus her and wipe a board is so good. You obviously want that bomb. You want Ulamog, but there are times when I think it might be smarter to grab.
Right. Just to clear a board.
Yeah.
Get everything out. Yeah, it seems great.
Zombies is a little bit resilient to that in that they have so much recursion.
Right.
Right. But I expect Flamecaller to go up in price a little bit. You'll see more of her probably, throughout the...
Now that Zombies has won.
Yes. And we'll talk about what Pro Tour means for Standard here on out. But without further ado, Jerry's deck...
I'm excited about this one.
Was pretty cool. So it is a standard-ish tribal deck. 24 creatures, 4 sorceries, 5 instants, 3 enchantments.
Okay.
The creatures runs playsets of everything.
Great.
So Crypt Breaker, Dread Wanderer, Metallic Mimic. Now this is interesting. Metallic Mimic isn't actually a zombie.
Okay.
But it serves as like a pseudo zombie lord. So enters the battlefield, you choose a creature type, becomes that creature type.
Okay.
Any creatures that share that creature type get +1/+1.
Oh, cool.
So
yeah, I really like that.
Perfect. I think it's for 3, if I'm not mistaken, and it's like a 2/2.
That seems amazing.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
It might be a 1/1. I'm sorry. I don't know. And 4 Relentless Dead, 4 Lord of the Accursed, 4 Diagraph Colossus. So the shell of this deck being made up of creatures, obviously these things have to interact well.
Right.
And that's exactly what zombie decks do. With Crypt Breaker and Dread Wanderer being a good turn 1, turn 2 play, you just get so much good stuff. You just play Crypt Breaker turn 1, discard Dread Wanderer, which you can then get back later. It just seems fantastic. Or play Crypt Breaker, discard Dread Wanderer, then Diagraph Colossus turn 3. The Diagraph comes out as a 3/3. You get another zombie token. You keep discarding things to Crypt Breaker to make 2/2 zombies.
Yeah.
And then you just get Dread Wanderer back out. It fills the board so quickly. And if you think back to our last standard episode when we talked about Mardu vehicles, why those are so dominant is that they fill the board with value quickly.
Right.
What zombies does better is it just does that faster.
Right.
And that's really it. Well, apart from the answers, but I'll talk about that in a second. It has so many ways to get 2/2 tokens out that its board just becomes an immense tidal wave of dead stuff that you can't deal with, which is exciting to see. I will also say, though, that I think this is better for standard than vehicles because you can easily sweep a board of 2/2s much faster than you can Mardu's junk, I'll say.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion. No, but I think it's neat to see kind of this kind of deck take over. I also love zombies.
When we first started opening Amon Cat, we each said we were going to make a tribal deck. We both love zombies. You went for the Minotaurs.
I did.
But it was a close draw up until zombies. Yes. I actually decided I wanted to do zombies. So
I was thinking the white-black would make a bigger splash.
I actually thought it would too.
The black is just a little more aggressive.
And I think it would be more consistent. You don't have any mana constraints or anything like that, so you can just play everything every turn or something like that. And I think the white gives you a little bit more interactivity. In some ways, things like Binding Zombie, you can tap down some creatures and get through for some extra damage, or get rid of something problematic on their end. But I do think that the mono black version is the better way to go. The original version I saw was white black. It was the Orzhov color, but I do like the mono black. I think that's great.
Yeah, it's very strong. One of the stars of the deck though is a sorcery, and I just had to pull it up because I wanted to get this right. So Dark Salvation, Jerry runs as a playset again as a 4/0. It is 1 black, XX colorless that says target player puts X 2/2 black zombie creature tokens onto the battlefield. Then up to 1 target creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn for each zombie that player controls.
Whoa.
So this is a dual threat in this deck. Fill your board exactly what you want it to do, and then also take down one of their guys.
And it's worth noting too, because you do have so many lords in this deck, they're probably not entering as 2/2s, right? No. Like they're probably at least 3/3, maybe even 4/4s.
These could easily be 4/4s in this deck.
And then you get to kill something. Like that's kind of amazing.
It is strong. And when you don't, this is probably going to take your mana for a turn if you're killing something, but say you do and you have now 3 extra bodies to use.
You're going to be in a very good position.
This is hardly ever a bad card to draw, which is fantastic for this deck. That takes up the 4 sorcery spot. It runs 3 Fatal Push as well, 3 Grasp of Darkness, and then 3 Liliana's Mastery for enchantments, which should come as no surprise, really.
No surprise at all.
Just another Lord. Not a legendary enchantment. You can stack them. Just fantastic. It's again, like Yuya's deck, horribly consistent. Which is a big takeaway from this tournament is each of these guys have found a way to get to their wins just quickly, easily. Jerry, I think, did it better. Not only because he won, just because he has play sets of just about everything.
Yeah. He knew from the play sets of everything and things like that, it looks like it was, let's just be as consistent as possible. Whereas Yuya's deck list has a few of the sort of one-of cards like Torrential Gearhawk and things like that, just to sort of throw in a little bit of extra tech, which isn't a bad thing, right? Like sometimes you need to balance that. But I do think that the consistency of both of these decks is great. And I think it's worth noting too, not to harp on the New Perspectives deck, but I think you can see a very clear difference between a winning deck and a deck that isn't quite so consistent as some of these, top 8 deck lists, that because the New Perspectives decks just they're not very consistent in any way. You're not able to win as often as you'd like.
Right. As often or as
with
easily.
these you can.
Definitely. So that being said, 2 winning decks. We've seen what's played the most. We've seen kind of the format for the Pro Tour, and that is a one-of tournament. But this is what the pros are playing, so we should take this as pretty consistent. Prices of some of these cards have already begun to spike, so you could and should expect to see zombies and Aetherworks in your next FNM and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
So
I think so.
Let's talk about what this means for Standard. My first question was, okay, what happens to Mardu?
It's gone forever.
No, Kevin. Kevin, no, it's not. And it honestly isn't. It needs to... Mardu, its strength is in its retooling, right? We said that before. Its colors hit some great variants of cards with different goals, different effects. I think with a little bit of kind of refocus and shift, Mardu could be back. In a more tempo, late-gamey aspect, Mardu could see a resurgence. Instead of being solely an aggro deck, it still gets stuff like both Chandra's,
Yeah.
Flame caller, like we said, being maybe the zombies kind of bane.
Yeah.
That could do well. Interesting thing to note about Mardu though. I was thinking about the next point.
Okay.
The next counter. Segueing into that smoothly without a hitch. The deck to beat now, in my mind, becomes Aetherworks Marvel, not
really?
Zombies. Yes, interestingly. Took the majority of the top 8.
Yeah.
Then took the majority of the top 16.
Okay.
So this is a deck that is consistent, that seeing play, people know how to pilot, and is pretty easy to pilot, honestly.
Yeah.
This is a deck that's going to need answers. So how do you do that? Some of the decks that did it better than others are actually the control decks of the tournament.
Interesting.
So Orzhov control, there were a few decks played that were black-white control, actually had a 100% win rate against Aetherworks decks.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Could not find a deck list for the control. Bummer. But for anyone who knows, might know what makes up that deck, share some knowledge with us.
Yeah,
Why
absolutely.
do you think
We'd
that
love
is?
to hear that.
Other control decks that did well were the Jeskai control
Okay.
and Izzet control.
Yeah.
Izzet control was played more than those other two, and had a comparable win percentage to Jeskai at around 64%.
Okay. So still pretty good.
It's, yes, pretty good. Not perfect, of course, not 100%.
Sure.
But solid.
Yeah.
So thinking about why that is, any combo deck is made up of some strong pieces that do one thing really well. But their biggest weakness is if they cannot protect those things, the combos get broken up.
Sure.
Right? If you have a way to just remove their Marvel, okay, they lose.
Yeah.
That being their win con. I mean, you could always hardcast an Ulamog. You could always swing out with your Thopter tokens and your 2-3
because
guys.
that's easy to do.
Right. You get to turn 10 consistently in a tournament, right?
Easy. No, that does not happen.
If it's indicative
if you break up a combo of a combo deck, you have successfully, I won't say completely won, but
no, there's still work to do.
Yeah, but you've made your battles so much easier if you can break up that combo.
Right. Zombies are kind of the odd man out, in that very clearly they could die to so many things.
Right.
And very clearly they have synergy with their creatures that if you break things like that up, they'll lose. With these decks getting so popular now, more play testing is going to come out, where I imagine we see more sweeper effects, more players more liable to target and kill this zombie over this zombie. The threats of the deck are really picked out. Things like Crypt Breaker, I think, are going to need to be dealt with. Things like Diagraph Colossus are good engines. It is also important to note, though, that a lot of these cards are going to cycle out soon.
That's a good point.
They're in the next set to go.
Right.
So with the next set dropping, though, we should get another good group of zombies. Yeah. Maybe not the same strength as we saw here.
But maybe it'll take a different turn for zombies. We'll see some sort of a new zombie tribal.
I think
which would be interesting.
Yeah, the Orzhov will probably be stronger in the next set, only because white zombies make a big play in the Amonkhet block, it looks like. But yeah, you lose Diagraph Colossus, you lose Crypt Breaker, you lose Relentless Dead, which are...
Those are huge game pieces in the mono blocks for sure. But
Relentless Dead right now is $25, just to give some...
Which is insane.
Yeah, some...
It's a great card, don't get me wrong, but it is very insane.
Right. So zombies is strong, but that's on a clock.
Yeah. I think it's probably on a downhill swing also.
Yeah. So with Aetherworks not rotating out, just getting stronger with the next sets, we'll kind of see what happens. So in final summation, Mardu is not dead. It did take a shot. It is seen to not work as well against Marvel and zombies. That does not mean count it out. If you're playtesting, don't forget about Mardu vehicles.
Right.
It's still strong. Aetherworks Marvel is the deck to beat. And if you're building a zombie deck, you have to think about longevity. Yeah. And those are my biggest takeaways.
I think those are good takeaways. I think it's really cool that again, not to bash Mardu vehicles, but I do think it's nice to see some variety in the top 8.
You always want to change it up.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we did look at the last top 8, and it was like 6 of the 8 top 8 decks. So it is nice to get a little bit of variety.
Sure.
See a tribal deck up at even winning the Pro Tour is great. Seeing a combo deck like Aetherworks Marvels Marvels, excuse me. I do really happen to like combo decks, so I think that's really cool that it's up there.
Yeah.
And then seeing sort of that rogue, green-black deck in there still and holding its own. And
yes.
I think I say rogue, obviously green-black has been a very strong deck for a while, but...
Yes and no. This kind of style is different, though,
sure.
in that it doesn't focus on getting to one big guy that someone's planning for. It kind of spreads it out like these aggro decks are doing.
Yeah.
And that might honestly be like a new turning point for aggro, maybe, that we have to think about, is that they're not focused on a fatty.
They're more focused on just flooding the board with some stuff.
Going wide.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Well, very interesting.
Thank you.
I appreciate you bringing this knowledge to us. We hope that if you guys have any opinions on this, we'd love to hear them, especially on probably the upcoming zombie rotation. I'm really interested in that. I'd like to see, obviously we won't know until Hours of Devastation comes out,
right?
What new additions we'll get. But I really would like to see how that turns out and what we get with the new set. Aetherworks Marvel, cool deck.
Yeah,
happy to see it. And Mardu vehicles. I'm excited to see how it will respond. I think to the changing meta.
That's fair.
So, all right. Well, thank you, Will.
Yeah, man.
Update on Standard. Again, we're throwing this out a little bit later than probably some people, but worthwhile content.
I hope
you enjoyed it.
I hope so.
For the last segment, we have our Crack a Pack. I'm still looking for my Aven Mind Sensor.
You are. That darn bird.
That darn bird. I'm hoping to get it. It's been a while, so we'll see.
I'm hoping you do.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for one darn cow. Neheb
Birds and
the
cows.
unworthy.
That's what we're looking for.
Look, my Farmville is taking a hit. I need a restock.
Well, I hope you get it. I'm going to start us off, I think, here.
Sure, go ahead.
All right, here we go. Oh, no. Not this week.
Hey.
But in lieu of
to note,
the winner of this Pro Tour, I did get Dreadwanderer.
Not bad.
Which is a great, namesake card for the Zombies deck. It's one for a 2/1 Zombie Jackal.
Mm-hmm.
It enters the battlefield tapped. And for 2 and a black, you can return it from the graveyard to the battlefield only if you've cast a sorcery and you have 1 or fewer cards in your hand. So it is a little bit situational, but it has the natural recursion.
Yes.
Which in a zombie deck where you're dumping your hand anyway, it's perfect.
Seems pretty good.
It's great. It's a really, really cool card. I'm happy to get it.
Sweet. Okay. What do we got?
No way. Kevin! Ugh. Fine.
Today is the day.
Yeah.
Oh, Fraptious Day. We got him, boys and girls. Anyone out there listening, we got him. I'm looking at Neheb the Worthy. He's not the Unworthy. I have been saying his name wrong this entire time.
I thought it was a joke. I thought you've been saying it as a joke.
I haven't. I legit thought it was the Unworthy.
No, it's the Worthy.
I thought he got like...
Well, now he is.
Yeah, absolutely, now he is. I thought he got like mad during a trial or something. He's like, oh...
I didn't make it.
Rebellion. That's where I went.
It would fit the colors, but no.
It would.
Unfortunately not. He is the Worthy.
He's so beautiful. All right. He's a 2/2 for 3. 1 colorless, 1 black, 1 red. 1 swamp, 1 mountain. First strike. Other Minotaurs you control have first strike. As long as you have 1 or fewer cards in hand, Minotaurs you control get +2/+0. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, each player discards a card.
This seems awesome in just Minotaur Tribal.
That's the money card, man.
I actually watched a Commander Clash.
Okay.
I believe it was Commander Clash where they used Neheb.
Interesting.
And it was just Minotaur Tribal
Heck
Commander.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
I believe
good.
I believe it.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm happy for you. You got your card.
Me too, man.
You're gonna have to pick another one now.
You know what? We will. Next episode,
we'll have your new one.
Yeah, we do. We do Cracker Packs on Sunday, don't we?
Yeah, we do Cracker Packs every time.
I forgot.
So hopefully we'll move on to another cool card. Maybe you'll get it. Maybe you won't. We'll see.
First time.
I'm still on the hunt for the Aven Mind Sensor. Hopefully I get it next time. But with that, we're going to end today's episode. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us, learning about Standard.
Yeah.
Great Pro Tour. We're happy to have some coverage on that. We will see you guys on Sunday, where it is Filler Fun Day. We'll talk about something close to our hearts. We'll see what it is.
Something exciting.
Something exciting.
That's a great word.
But we hope you guys enjoyed it. We appreciate you guys sticking with us. My name is Kevin.
I'm Will.
And this has been It Resolves.